There are so many directions that we can go when it comes to making a video about the Vancouver Canucks today. We can talk about the Bo Horvat trade return, the rumors of the Canucks not wanting to go full future, and prospects and picks they want younger players in return, hockey trades, etc., etc. We can get all angry and pissy about that later, but I feel like today I don't really want to make a negative video, you know? I want to make a video talking about something good. Something that I feel has been a very bright spot in the Vancouver Canucks 2022-2023 season. And don't get me wrong, maybe this is a bad thing. Like, maybe this player and how well he's been performing and everything with the contract next season will inevitably screw the team over again, like many of these contract negotiations have been. But then again, Emily Castonguay is here, so we'll see whether or not she's able to do something good with the contracts here. But today I wanted to talk about the Vancouver Canucks Russian free agent signing from earlier this year, Andrei Kuzmenko. Because earlier this week I saw a tweet from NHL Watcher that made me kind of reevaluate the whole situation with Kuzi, and I was like, damn, he's really that good, eh? So, without further ado, this is the tweet that I had seen from yesterday, or 2 days ago, Andrei Kuzmenko is on pace for 76 points in his first NHL season. Panarin had 77 points in his first season in the NHL, if you are curious. And what I wanted to do from this information was compare and contrast both of the first seasons of these guys in the NHL, as well as their body of work beforehand. So if you go over to Kuzmenko, you acknowledge he's a 26-year-old guy, 5'11", right-handed forward, 194 pounds, and in the season before coming over to the NHL, he was playing with SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL, where he had 53 points in 45 games played. Now, Kuzmenko was known mostly as a top goal scorer and point producer in the KHL for a while. It was just really last season when he was a point-per-game guy and really exploded off the map in a way that said that, yeah, this guy is absolutely bona fide and ready to be an NHL player. This season, he's got 26 points in 28 games played, 13 goals, 13 assists for the Vancouver Canucks, and he's on pace, as the tweet said, for 76 points. 38 goals and 38 assists is the projection right here, which, I'm going to be honest, man, I realistically expected Kuzmenko to be able to maybe hit 20 goals. I think in the Canucks After Dark 22-23 point predictions list, I had Kuzmenko at like 50 points or whatever it was, and I'm pretty sure on Hot Take Hockey's podcast with myself and Clay Emu, they asked me, what is your Canucks hot take heading into the season? And I said, Andrei Kuzmenko is going to get 20-plus goals. But the problem is, he's already there at 13, and we're not even halfway through the season yet. We're not even at 30 games yet, and he's at 13 goals. He's on pace for 38, and the fact is, with the way Kuzmenko has been playing so far, if he gets 30 goals on the year, if he gets 35 goals on the year, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, this guy is a machine. He is so good at creating offense that even though he might make a bad pass once in a while, like a deadly pass for his own goaltender, maybe once every 4 or 5 games. Even though he is not the perfect player, he is a really gosh darn freaking good one. And he meshes so well with Elias Pettersson that this pairing, it's just so intriguing to me as to how the Canucks are going to handle it long term. Kuzmenko is so good behind the net. That was his bread and butter in the KHL last year, setting up in Gretzky's office. He's a really good net front presence with tipping the puck in, getting rebounds, just being in the right place at the right time. And you can see that anytime he scores a tip-in goal, he never celebrates. He just kind of groups up with his teammates and he kind of points at the guy that shot the puck, and he never sellies. Like, he looks stone cold every time he scores a tip-in goal. But when he comes down on the wing or right down the middle, picks the loose puck up and he snipes it from range, that's when he goes out there and sellies hard. Andrei Kuzmenko is an absolute gamer, and he's got one of the best shots on the team. Like, this is kind of what we thought Brock Boeser would be able to be by the time Boeser was 25 years old-ish. The confidence, the swagger, the tip-ins, and the on-the-rush shots. He is so good. Compare this with Artemi Panarin, who is a current New York Ranger and 100-point caliber player. He didn't get that last season. He had 96 points in only 75 games. This season, though, he's on pace for 93 points. Panarin is one of the best players in the NHL, and he's one of the top paid players in the NHL for a reason. Panarin is 31 years old, meaning that back when he made his debut in 2015-16, he was around the same age that Kuzmenko is today. Kuzmenko is 26, Panarin when he made his debut was 25, thus Panarin was eligible to win the Calder Trophy, which we actually did cover back in the day. Like, we made the video back in 2016 saying, hey, this is the Calder race, McDavid, Gostisbehere, and Panarin, who's gonna win it? And Panarin ended up doing so. He had 77 points in 80 games played, and he was supposed to be this good. That was the thing. Panarin was as good as Kuzmenko was in the KHL, with 62 points in 54 games played with SKA St. Petersburg the prior year. This is why there was such a big free agency bidding war for this guy, and eventually, when he signed on with the Blackhawks, many fans were excited out of their minds because they fantasized about this back in Chicago. Artemi Panarin literally has not had a season in the NHL below 70 points if you exclude the 2020-2021 shortened season wherein he had 58 points in 42 games played. He's been a beast, and for Andrei Kuzmenko, he is sort of in that same territory of point production immediately starting out. Now, the thing with Panarin when he was in the NHL for the first time, he was playing on a line with Patrick Kane. It was him, Anisimov, and Kane, I believe it was, and he was so good, so talented, so good at sniping, so good at playmaking that I believe his nickname back in the time was the right-handed version of Patrick Kane, because they were so good together, they complemented each other so much with their play styles, and now, I mean, look, Panarin is one of the top paid players in the league. Kuzmenko, I don't want to go out there and say that anybody is going to be the next Artemi Panarin, but Kuzmenko is on pace to doing so, and if I'm going to be honest, like, I didn't really expect him to be that good. I know it was kind of a meme saying, okay, as long as the Canucks don't get the next Nikita Gusev or the Vadim Chipachevs, then it's going to be fine. Like, there are KHL guys that come over to the NHL all the time. Sometimes they're Kirill Kaprizov, sometimes they're Artemi Panarin, but most of the time they don't really amount to much. Even Nikita Gusev, I feel like he has an unfair rep because his first season in the NHL wasn't actually that bad, but he definitely did fall out of favor soon, and it's why he's back in the KHL today. So for Andrei Kuzmenko, I mean, so far, just based off of everything we have seen in his early NHL career, this guy belongs, and he is a good freaking player in this league. My mind is only wondering now, what the heck could have happened if Kuzmenko was added onto Edmonton? Had they not taken in the Joeys and tried to seduce him on the spot there, and ended up giving a better pitch? You talk about how the Oilers need another right wing to fill out their top six. Well, having McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, Hyman, and Kuzmenko would have been absolutely deadly, especially with Kuzi on an entry-level deal. Now, speaking about that entry-level deal, we're going to have more conversations as the weeks and months go along as to what exactly the Canucks do here with Kuzi, because I mean, look, if the Canucks are going to re-sign Kuzmenko to whatever his market value is, if he does get 35 goals and 70 points, then that guy is going to cost a lot of money. Sure, you could say, oh, it's only one season. Like, why is he going to get a 7-year, $7 million AV deal because he's only played one season? Like, that's not really all too smart, is it? But what do you give this guy if it's not? Like, what is the lowest dollar amount that a guy like that is going to be able to accept, especially with Dan freaking Milstein as his agent? Like, 5 million? 5.5? 6? 6.3? You give him the Brock Besser deal? Like, Brock is a worse player than Kuzmenko, and he's making 6.6. What is the argument there as to how much this guy's going to be able to make? Whether the Canucks are going to be able to afford him or not, that's completely up in the air at the moment, whether or not the Canucks are going to free up the money to be able to re-sign Kuzmenko, or if they decide, okay, well, we don't think we can do this, we'll just trade Kuzmenko away, get a whole bunch of assets for this guy, but based off of the Bo Horvat report we had earlier today, it appears that they're probably not going to do that because they want to focus on players that are young-ish and can grow and develop alongside of Petey and Hughes in their primes. I feel like Kuzmenko does fit the bill there, and plus he's played really well with Petey, so I don't know if it's worth it to go out there and try to break that up, but either way, I mean, Panarin and Kane, Kuzmenko, Pettersson, kind of works out. You have the initials also kept constant in that. I just realized Panarin, Pettersson, Kane, Kuzmenko. That's kind of funny, isn't it? But talk to the comments either way all your thoughts about Andrei Kuzmenko and the way he's performed so far in the 2022-2023 season. He is on pace to matching what Panarin did in Panarin's first NHL year, albeit 1 year removed because Panarin was a year younger than Kuzmenko when he made his debut. But either way, thoughts in the comment section below about these two players and their comparisons. Also, tell me in the comments, what are your thoughts about Kuzmenko and the future? Do the Canucks re-sign him? Do they trade him? How much do they re-sign him for if they decide to keep him around? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.